Hello, everyone. Twana Michelle here, narcissistic abuse recovery coach and mental health therapist. And today I want to talk to you guys about how to have self compassion after the narcissist discards you. And this is so extremely important because after the narcissist discards you, throws you away like you were trash, like you were completely and utterly meaningless to them, then you're going to experience a lot of complicated feelings. And some of that is going to be just feelings of self blame and criticism. Sometimes we take on a lot of the responsibility for what went wrong in the relationship with the narcissist when it's not our fault, okay? These people are skillful master manipulators. We were conned. There were red flags. Either we didn't see them or maybe we missed them. Maybe we stayed too long, whatever. There are many reasons, right? There are reasons we ended up with these people. There are reasons that we stay with these people. But at the end of the day, we are victims. We are not the ones at fault here. We don't want to blame ourselves. But you might find yourself doing that quite a bit, criticizing yourself, beating yourself up, talking down, a lot of negative self talk. That inner critic comes out loudly and persistently after the narcissist discards you. So you want to practice the opposite of self-criticism, which is self-compassion. So I'm going to talk about how you do that because I talk to people in my practice about having self-compassion, giving yourself grace, practicing self-forgiveness, which is a part of self-compassion. And I get met with often, how do you do that? I don't know how to do that. And I think it's because many of us have never been accustomed to habitually and consistently being compassionate towards ourselves. You're probably very compassionate, loving, kind, caring people towards others, but you may have a hard time being that way with yourself. And there are lots of reasons for that, which I'm not going to get into in this particular video, but I'm going to tell you how you can practice self compassion, some things you can do to start that process so that you are not blaming yourself and being hard on yourself for how things went down with the narcissist. The first thing that you want to do to practice self compassion, and this is super important, and it may not seem or feel like it's self compassion at all, you have to honor your feelings. And I'll tell you why honoring your feelings is a way of practicing self compassion because typically we like to deny what we feel. We want to avoid feeling it because it is painful. The more you do that, the more you abandon yourself. Okay. You've been through a lot. You have maybe anger about it. You have some sadness about it. Maybe you're feeling just really hopeless. Maybe you're feeling really irritable and frustrated. Maybe you are feeling some guilt. It's okay to feel that. Self compassion does not mean we have to avoid everything we feel and pretend to feel okay. No, it means you honor that. It means you lean into that. It means you allow yourself to say, I'm hurt about what happened. I'm angry about what happened. I feel some guilt because maybe I didn't see some things and I stayed too long. That's not blaming yourself. That's honoring what you feel. And it's so important to do that because when you were with the narcissist, they dismissed all of your feelings. They made you question all of your feelings. They made you question your reality. So you may have believed that you didn't have the right to feel what you feel. So self-compassion is about rejecting that voice that tells you you have no reason to feel that way. You don't get to you don't have the right to feel what you feel. You don't have the right to express what you feel. It's all your fault anyway. So what are you angry about? You have the right to feel all of that. So start with honoring what you feel and leaning into that. And the second thing that I want to tell you about practicing self-compassion is kind of related to that. It's about allowing yourself to grieve. If you were talking to a friend who had just gotten dumped by a boyfriend or girlfriend, or someone else who had a major loss that maybe wasn't even related to a relationship, you would be supportive of them. You would tell them, this has got to be really hard. You must be really hurt. I can see that you're in a lot of pain. It makes sense to me that you would feel what you feel. Is there anything that I can do to support you? Is there anything that I can do to help you along the way? Well, those are the ways you want to talk to yourself. Instead of saying, oh, you're so stupid and you should have saw this coming and Why were you even with this person in the first place? You saw the red flags in the beginning. How could I be so dumb? Would you ever tell that to a friend or anyone you cared about? No. You would respect the fact that they have just suffered a traumatic event and a major loss. Not only loss of the relationship, loss of someone you love, but anyone who's been with a narcissist know that you lose yourself. You have lost, if you ever had a sense of self, you've lost that. If you ever had self-confidence and self-esteem, you've lost that. If you ever had a connection to yourself where you nurtured yourself and you knew what you liked and what you enjoyed and you were just really involved in life and just felt really happy and alive, well, you lost that. So you are grieving. Allow yourself to grieve and show compassion to yourself as you grieve. Tell yourself the same things you would tell a friend who was grieving. Do the same things for yourself that you would do to a friend. The nurturing, loving, kind gestures. Do that for you. Because this is the time where you need it. This is the time where you need to show up for yourself the most. The next thing that you want to do to practice self-compassion is to place the blame where it belongs, okay? Stop blaming yourself. When you find yourself thinking, this is my fault, I should have known, I should have seen it, how could I have been so dumb? Why did I not do anything about this? You want to first be aware of that. Do some journaling, write down your thoughts and feelings, and then take a look at that and see how you can reframe that thought. For instance, instead of saying, I was so dumb, why did I not see this coming? Why didn't I do anything about it? You want to reframe that in a way which basically means, how can I look at this differently? What is a different perspective that I can approach so that I can look at this in more of a realistic and less critical way? For instance, however, this guy is very skillful and masterful at conning and manipulating. So I can see how I overlooked those signs, or even if I didn't do anything about it, I can see how I was maybe stuck in fear or just in a dissociated, frozen state, and I just didn't know what to do. You see how that is completely different? So that's how you want to reframe and challenge and change your thoughts when you are blaming yourself for something that is not yours. Another thing you want to do to practice self-compassion, super, super important, you want to practice some self-soothing and self-nurturing activities. What helps you feel loved? What helps you feel soothed? How would you like to be nurtured? Think of all the things that make you feel loved and cared for in a relationship. Not with the narcissist, just in general. Because we have a love language. We have certain acts of love that makes us feel cared for and loved. So there are 5 love languages. Figure out which one is yours. You may already know. And do those things for yourself. So there are acts of service where I could maybe take care of some things for myself that I need to take care of. Maybe I need to get back to being productive. Maybe I need to feel like I'm accomplishing things in my life. There are words of affirmation, which is another love language. Maybe saying kind, loving things to myself. Maybe positive affirmations. I am worthy. I am lovable. I am beautiful. Those are ways that you can show love to yourself. And then there's quality time. Maybe you need to just spend some time alone with you. Maybe you want to take a trip by yourself. Maybe you want to go stroll through the mall, buy yourself a gift. I don't know, but spending that time with yourself just to reconnect with you, to build that relationship with you. There are gifts. Gifts is another love language. Go and buy yourself something. Don't break the bank. But you might want to go and just buy yourself something that makes you feel good. Okay. And then the 5th love language is physical touch. Maybe you want to get a massage. Maybe you want to get a facial. But think about what your specific love language is. How, not necessarily how you give love, it could be the same, but what makes you feel loved? How do you receive love? What acts and gestures make you feel that someone loves you? And do it to yourself. Do it for yourself. Super important. Another thing that you want to do to practice self-compassion is engage in positive self-talk, which I've talked about quite a bit by now. Reject that negative inner critic that talks to you and tells you lies about yourself, and reframe that in a positive way. I'm not stupid. I I was manipulated. I'm not unlovable. It's just that I happen to be with someone who doesn't know how to love. I'm not unworthy. I am worthy of love and I deserve a lot better than what I got from that narcissist. Positive self talk. Reject that inner critic. And then the last thing I also spoke about a bit was self forgiveness. You're going to have to forgive yourself for what you think is your role in this relationship. And this is a tricky one because some of you may be saying, well, if there's something I need to forgive myself for, then I must have done something wrong, which is not true. There is the perception and there is reality, right? We perceive that maybe we had done something wrong. And because we perceive that, we believe that, and that becomes our reality. And even when we look at our role, it doesn't necessarily mean fault. Yes, there may be some things within myself that are not healed. Yes, maybe I saw some red flags that I overlooked. That doesn't mean I deserve to be hurt intentionally by this person. That doesn't mean I needed to be discarded in the way that I was. So, but there's a part of me that has some guilt associated with that. So, in order to work through that guilt, and as a part of working through that guilt, I have to forgive myself for whatever I think my role was. And in order to forgive myself, I have to go back to that first thing that I mentioned to you guys, which was about honoring your feelings, and secondly, allowing yourself to grieve. Because, like I said, you didn't just lose that relationship, you lost yourself. You're grieving for you, and you are forgiving and letting go of anything that you think may have been your role, even if in reality it wasn't, because perception is reality. And keep doing that. Keep saying, I forgive myself. I release this. I let it go. And write yourself a self forgiveness letter if you have to. And then burn it as a symbolic gesture of releasing and letting it go for good. So I wanted to talk about that because I think it's super important. You cannot really heal from trauma if you don't learn how to have self compassion, because what we tend to do is beat ourselves up a lot, and especially as you're on the healing journey and things are not maybe going as expected, or you're having a setback, which we will have setbacks. The healing process is not linear, right? We are going to have ups and downs, and in those moments where we have those downs and those setbacks, it can be really hard, and we can really kind of get down on ourselves and question if we're good enough to do this work, if we're able to do this work. And the reality is, you are. And so we just have to unlearn all of the lies and negative things that the narcissist made us believe about ourselves and relearn who we really are. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Give me your thoughts about self compassion, what helps you practice self compassion. And also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That helps with the algorithm. And share this video out with others who you think may benefit from this topic. And yeah, I think that's it. If you have not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting on? I'd love to have you be a part of this community. And thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye.